I'll do a little bit of both. So first of all, my name is Michelle Phillips. I'm the Faculty Staff Development Committee Chair this year. And I just want to welcome you all to the UHCC PD Consortium Campus Connections group. And boy, I'm just going to mute you real quick. Thanks so much. Thank you. And so I'm very happy to introduce our presenter, Dr. Sarah Vogel. So she's Hawaiʻi Title IX Coordinator, Equity and Compliance Officer. And she's just an awesome, amazing woman and has been a great addition to our ohana at Hawaiʻi. And I'm so happy to have her here and to talk today about joy. And so she's going to talk about joy and 3 ways to find joy in the workplace again. So we all know we need a little bit of that. So, and she's just been a shot of joy in my life every time I've got to interact with her. So I'm going to pass the microphone off, and thank you all for being here and supporting the Campus Connection series. And we also hope to see you at the Excellence in Education Day, which is next Friday on March 4th.
Which I'm presenting 3 times because I'm an overachiever, and honestly, just presenting brings me joy. So yeah, it's funny hearing you, Michelle, say that I put in my original pitch that I was going to give 3 different ways to find joy. There's like 1,000 in here. So if you have not gotten your pen and paper ready, or however you take notes, I would just say, go ahead and grab that, because we're going to have some reflection exercises. And my hope is that throughout the presentation, you're not only seeing the way that I present brings a little bit of joy, right? Because we often go to things like meetings and presentations of people like, well, talking through PowerPoints and it's boring as hell and we don't want to be there. If you are in charge of PowerPoints or meetings, you can make a meeting joyful. You have the power to do that. And I would challenge you to do that. Every meeting, no one wants to be at meetings. Half the meetings we go to can be emails. If you're going to meet, make it meaningful. Talk story a little bit, have some fun. There's going to be a ton of pictures on this presentation because I like pictures and they make me happy. Colors make me happy. So, okay, we're going to get started. And if I can figure out, oh, there we go. Okay, so we're going to start with some breathing exercises. Again, when we say joy, joy is going to look different for everyone. A lot of times, most of you may be here because you're just like, I either just don't want to be in my job right now. I just wanted to like take a little break, and that's cool. Welcome, welcome. We're going to start by centering ourselves and just kind of setting intentions for our time together. We have an hour and 25 minutes. And so we're going to start with a couple breathing exercises that I learned on a podcast that are just so fantastic. These are things that you can implement in your life when things get stressful. I want to talk just a bit about breathing before we get into box breathing. On the podcast, they talked about how from the moment that our life began, when we exited the womb of our mothers, to the moment that we die, that we pass away, our breath is the only constant thing in our lives. The way that we look changes, our dreams change, our desires change, our partners change, life changes, it's inevitable, right? But our breath, from the first breath that we take to the last breath that we exhale, is always with us. And I think after working in areas of trauma, so as Michelle said, I work as the Title IX coordinator and I do presentations like this for fun because they bring me joy. Breathing has always been something that I have clients come back to, right? We all breathe every single day without thinking about it, but sometimes bringing consciousness to breathing is one of the best ways to reduce stress and give kind of make way for things like joy. And so all of our feelings tend to be connected with breath. You know, when you're scared, you find your breath is changing. When you're exhilarated, it took your breath away. When you're in love, you know, you're breathless. Breath is a part of emotions, right? So if you want to feel something different, think about how you can control your breath, which you certainly can do in many situations. You know, again, things like panic attacks, those are things that like, again, there's practices to get out of those. I'm not saying that is something that you can always control necessarily, but in many, many situations, becoming cognizant of our breath can help us reduce that stress and just calm our nerves a little bit. So as we're all overworked, as we're all, feeling stresses throughout the day, whether it's the morning hustle with our children, or it's going into a meeting that is going to be tough because you're giving some critical feedback, or if you're going into, or if someone was just incredibly rude to you, like, remember that you can control your breath. So, couple examples. Box breathing. Put in the chat, has anyone heard of box breathing? This is something that I just learned of and I love it. So essentially, how box breathing works is you inhale for 4 seconds, you hold for 4 seconds, you exhale for 4 seconds, and you hold. After the exhale, you hold that stillness for 4 seconds, and you repeat that 4 times or more, however you need it. So let's do that all together and just practice that. And this is a tool that you can take away in your life moving forward after this presentation. So we'll start with a deep inhale through your nose. And inhale diaphragmatic breathing. So you want to feel your stomach. If it helps to put your hand on your stomach, breathing in, have your stomach move outward. You hold it for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 3, 2, 1. If you want to close your eyes during this, it can help. I wish I had like one of those yogi voices. I really don't. But bear with me. Inhale. 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4. One more time. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, and hold. 2, 3, 4. I hope that quick breathing exercise is something that you can take moving forward, right? So we already got 1, people. Out of the 3 I promised you, we got 1. There's going to be plenty coming your way. Thinking to yourself, what do I need to let go of to fully immerse myself in this experience, in this hour and a half that was set aside, that you elected to come to, that you put on your calendar and showed up for? Do you really want to experience joy? Let's let go. Let's breathe it out. Let go of what pissed you off today, what frustrated you today, and really focus on being present. And I think with the next slide as well, that presence and mindfulness is just so, so important. This is another technique that I learned in that podcast that I thought was so interesting. And I just had a conversation with a friend of mine today who, when she was talking about going to therapy and dealing with anxiety around raising her children, I was like, well, what were the techniques you used? And she said the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 technique. I was like, I just heard about that. So this one is something that I think it's good to go over. You can certainly practice it as I'm talking through it, because it's essentially bringing awareness to the present moment. When you're anxious about something, you're either living in your past or you're living in your future, but bring yourself back to what is here right now. So using your 5 senses, acknowledging 5 things that you can see around you. I got a ring light over here to make me look cute. I got double screens. I got my cute little pink glasses. I got my scissors. I got my favorite highlighter. Again, it's bringing your mind back to what is around me right now. Acknowledge 4 things that you can touch. It could be the soft shirt that you're wearing. It could be the stringy hair that you have. It could be the cool headphones, the phone that you have, whatever is around you, but having that sensory experience. Acknowledging 3 things that you can hear around me. My nasally voice. Maybe you hear something else going on outside. You got some birds going on. 2 things you can smell. I got a chai tea smell coming out near me. No other things that I can smell. My perfume that I'm wearing, and taste. So I just had some coconut crackers so I can taste it. These are, again, just another practice that you can take to when things start getting too overwhelming, too stressful, too frustrating. taking that moment to be like, we got to pause, and we either do some box breathing or we do some grounding techniques, something to just bring the stress level down, right? So this is, I'm going to share this. Michelle, you can share this with folks, right? So On Purpose with Jay Shetty, I just found this, and I see Tamara, you're nodding your head. Karen, we got some people who know. Oh my gosh, Tamara's showing in her. So if you have gallery view, she's showing Think Like a Monk with Jay Shetty. This person, this man is fantastic. I have just listened to one episode and I was like, subscribe, because what I learned in that 30 minutes was he used to be a monk. And so had like a whole life. That book that Tamara just showed us is Think Like a Monk. You know, another episode I listened to is about veganism, vegetarianism. It's very interesting stuff that he's talking about. But for me, what stood out was those breathing exercises. And I was like, all right, I have to do that in the Joy presentation to just get us started. So, wow, this looks really obnoxious as a full screen. Sorry about that. Woo! I'll have to change that for the next time that I do this presentation. Loud in your face. I want you to take your pen, your paper, however you're taking notes, and just jot down, or if you want to put in the chat, if you're feeling brave today, why did you choose to come to this presentation? Just first thing on your mind. Why do you choose to come to this presentation? And as we do that, I'm going to need joy at work. Okay. I could always use my joy, but especially today, Angela, you're in the right place, girl. Yes. Wanted a little positivity. Yes. Thank you for sharing, boy. Need more joy in my life. Some low morale meetings lately. Yep. Yeah. Low morale. I mean, it's a pandemic, folks. Like people are getting vaccinated, things, hospital rates are going down, but like the reality is most of us working at a college didn't want to work in this environment. That I can't control, but there's lots of things that we can control to bring joy back, right? Putting joy on your forefront, on your to-do list sounds like I can just do that. But when you put your focus and intention on something, you'll find that you start noticing things in your life that bring you more joy, right? Joy is something that I want to feel. Can't ever get enough joy. I don't think you can overdose on joy. This is correct. And what's amazing about it is when you're joyful and you're excited and you're exhilarated, other people become joyful. And then it just starts spreading, like whatever the opposite of a disease is, but like that, like a virus, but like a good virus. So we're just fighting this pandemic virus with our own joy. I figured these were some of the reasons why you wanted to join. Dr. Vogel would teach me how to finally have joy. I mean, she's a doctor, right? I'm not like a medical doctor. I wrote a dissertation. I did some research. That's the kind of doctor I am. I wanted to get out in an hour and a half of my miserable job. I see you folks. And I commend you, not because you think your job's miserable, that makes me sad, but that you put yourself first, because I think that's another thing that can help bring us joy, is we often put everyone else first. We put our jobs first, we put our partners first, we put our kids first, we put our families, like our in-laws first. It's time to start giving yourself what you give everyone else, right? Making time for yourself. And it's so much easier said than done. But again, if you put your intentions towards that, you will find there is time in the day, and you will find what activities actually bring you that joy, right? Like, it's going to sound weird, but now that we have a kid, I like going to the grocery store. I like spending money and buying myself at least 2 snacks on top of the healthy groceries. And that brings me joy. And I'll bring my kid and we have a fun time and we make a game out of it, right? So there's lots of ways to incorporate joy in your life. My joy and your joy are going to be different. I'm desperate for some answers. I've already given you like 500. If you're listening, they're there. I want to be entertained. I hope I am doing that with my voice and with my excessive hand motions and with my photos. And I'm excited to finally have the Joy playbook. The last one, I don't really have a playbook. I just have things that work for me. And so I just wanted to share that with you. Here's me. Oh, look at how cute. Oh, look at these cute photos I put in. I had a professional photo shoot with a girlfriend of mine who's an aspiring photographer, and, you know, the high res digital editing that she did, I was like, oh, making me look so tan. That lighting's perfect. But I just want to quickly share. So I work as a Title IX coordinator, like I said, at Hawaiʻi Community College in Hilo. For me, joy, I think one of the reasons why I really wanted to do this presentation is because I've really struggled with joy, especially after having a baby. Look at that cute baby in that center photo. That is Nainoa, my son, but that was when he was like 6 weeks old, maybe 6 months. I don't know. He was under 6 months. He's so cute and little. He looks very different now. But I think that was right around the time where like the real struggles of motherhood started to hit me. I didn't know it at the time, but I was really struggling with postpartum depression. On top of that, as soon as he turned 6 months old, the pandemic hit. So then all of my social network was cut off. So I just was in a deep pit of despair. I was still functioning. I still showed up to work every day. I started this job at Hawaiʻi Community College right around that time. So I got offered this job right when the pandemic hit. And then in about like 5 months later, so my son was almost 1, I started this job. And, you know, and starting a job during a pandemic where I can't meet anyone that I work with, that was really hard. My husband had a job and then he lost it. I mean, it was just seemed like the world was just like closing in around me. It was just collapsing all over. There was just nothing good. Like, yes, I was employed, but even in my employment, it was like my job was dealing with a lot of like discrimination, harassment claims. And so everyone's pissed at each other. And I was like, oh my God, I functioned. I showed up. I did my basic duties for mothering, being a wife, being a daughter, having a job, but like, I wasn't happy. And my husband saw it. He was like, Sarah, are you okay? I'm like, I'm fine. Stop asking me. Irritability, sign of depression. And he's like, you just don't seem happy. I'm like, what am I freaking supposed to entertain you? Am I a clown? Again, irritability, depression. Like I was legit depressed. And he was like, I just love you and I care about you. And I think it's time to like seek some help. And for someone who has recommended over and over again to hundreds of students and staff members the importance of therapy, I was like, yeah, I can solve this. I got my master's in counseling. I'm fine. But taking the risk and being like, it couldn't hurt, right? I already feel awful, couldn't hurt. So I went and saw a therapist. And when I tell you it was freaking life-changing, it was life-changing. If any of this is ringing true to you, again, I'm not a therapist. I just really believe in therapy, especially after going through it myself. It just took me a long time to get there. If you're crying, if you're irritable, if you're having suicidal thoughts, for sure, please seek help. If you feel very connected to me, you can reach out to me and I can help connect you to those folks. I found my therapist through our EAP program. I got like 3 free sessions and then, and then our good old American healthcare system was like, and now it's time to pay money. Unfortunately, there's not $20 copays for therapy. There are at Kaiser, but it's telehealth and you have to wait 3 months. So again, if you have questions, your EAP program, your HR program can certainly help you get connected or kind of see all of your options. It's just a little bit bleak out there. So again, like finding ways to incorporate a little bit of joy are very important for your mental health. Harsh reality, I'm not going to solve all your problems. This hour-and-a-half presentation is not going to solve all your problems. I recognize we live in complex times, we live complex lives with lots of different interventions that we can complete every single day, right? These are just some little tips and ways to think about life, work, joy, pleasure that hopefully will just like ingrain just a little nugget of hope, a little seed that we're planting today, that over time you might think to yourself, okay, I'm going to make this small change, take this little action. And little by little, you will start to see that joy is actually, as Love Actually, the movie says, joy is all around us. They say love is all around us, but joy is all around us. We're gonna alter it for this presentation. I also want to acknowledge that we're really going to talk about overcoming individual barriers to joy. I don't have enough time or enough power or influence, although I'm trying, to change the structural barriers that are preventing you from experiencing joy, right? I know that it is very real. I know I can speak for our campus, and I assume it's very similar for everyone else, that we're having a hard time, that we lost a bunch of positions. So everyone's taking on more work than they need to be taking on, that it's hard to hire. So it's making it really hard to hire, right? To help relieve some of this work. Those are two examples of structural barriers, things that happen outside of your control from a system level that were decisions made to try and save money, right? I don't have the power and influence to change those. I think we all can continue to advocate for ourselves, to continue to draw boundaries and barriers around ourselves, like a little protective bubble to say, I can't take on anymore. There's only so much time in the day, right? Michelle's just like grinning. She's like, yeah, girl, you're literally speaking to my soul. I mean, I think many of you on this call probably work past 5 o'clock, work past 4:30, sometimes work on the weekends, always work on the weekends. I don't know. But my hope is that you understand that there are things that you can take control of. There are things that you do have power over to start to reclaim some of your time, some of your energy, some of your joy, because again, we can advocate and advocate and advocate, but sometimes things just don't change overnight. They don't change right away. They don't change at all. And so that's a whole nother conversation of when to say, like, this isn't working for me. But what I do want to focus on is what we do have the power over. Question. Do we have any questions in the chat? No. Okay. COVID has overtaxed all of our emotions for sure. Yeah. So answer this question: what brings you joy? And if you feel brave, answer it in the chat. Oh my gosh, someone said Reese's peanut butter eggs, Deanna. Heck yes, those bring joy. See, that is something so simple. So simple. You just get a nice big bag of them. After Easter, they'll be on sale. They last for like 1,000,000 years because they have 1,000 preservatives. Music, Reese's Dark Thins, boy, those sound fun. I don't know about those. Oh, petting my puppy, yes. Pet therapy, spending time with family, music. Ooh, I don't know who Ricky Nelson is, but I am definitely a huge music fan. Thin Mints. Oh, it's Girl Scout season. My husband and sons. Yes. Oh my gosh. Grandbaby kisses, especially the ones that are like all sticky. My son just had chocolate milk for the first time today. And he was like, ah! That was literally his face. Oh my God. He called it juice. It was really cute. Family, nature, my dogs. Hershey's Kisses. Oh, chocolate tart. Where is that from? That's not Poshmark. I hear you, online shopper. D. Anderson, Traveling Man. Okay, I'll check that out. Helping students. I love some of these we can incorporate into work, right? Some of them are outside of work. This is just some things that bring me joy. This is what the Marriott Waikoloa. I was just there the other day. My husband and I were like, we're just going to take advantage of the combiner rates, drop baby off at grandma's and treat ourselves. And when we showed up, I'm telling you what, folks, when you have joy in your heart and you show up to a front desk and you're like, I just dropped my baby off. We're going to have some Valentine's weekend. It's going to be awesome. You know what she did for us because we were so excited? She freaking upgraded us without cost, just because I think she liked our vibe, to a, like, what do they call those? It was called a hale. So it was just like a little hut. So it wasn't even in the hotel. It was like, the price for it wasn't even online. Like, as soon as I realized what had happened and we walked into our room, I was like, why is this happening to us? This is incredible. I will never be able to afford this. So then of course I was like, how much is this? And it's like, you must call for rates. And I was like, this is how rich people live. This is so exciting. So we had this like super luxurious, and I swear to you, the only reason that she went above and beyond, I think, was because we showed up with our KTA bags, which, for those who don't have KTA on your island, it's like a food land. It's just a grocery store. We had our poke, we were ready, right? Because we work in higher education. We don't make that much money. Like, we showed up with our snacks, we showed up with our beer. And she was just like, you know what? I'm going to hook you up. And she sure did. And it was awesome. I like craft beer. Obviously, I can't have that at work. I like shopping at the Goodwill. Can't do that at work. I like festivals. Obviously, that's not happening. So none of these are work related. I just want to, if you haven't made that association, none of them are work related. And I think there's a pressure. I don't know if I titled this like how to find joy at work. I think there's a pressure to like be super happy at work, love your job. That's not like everyone's reality. My husband he's like, I work to live. I don't live to work. And I've always been very confused about that, because I'm like, no, but working with students and people is my passion. It's my love. If I don't love my job, how can I even go on? And he's like, I don't know. You're going to have to figure that out. So I did. Okay. And I think, let's just take a quick poll, put it in the chat. How much time do you think we spend at work? I think this is really important to talk about. Chris, a third of our lives. Too much freaking time. Yeah, it depends, right? It depends on how you spend your day, mentally or physically. Good question, Emily. I don't know the answer to that, because I think a part of finding joy is again, those boundaries that we create, those practices that we create to not have work follow us home, right? So like, I don't have any notifications on. This is my phone. It's not showing up. I don't have, like, all of my apps have no little thing that comes up that says you have 12 messages on Facebook or whatever. The only one I have is for text message and phone calls. That's it. That's one way that you can have a boundary. My husband's phone dings every time he gets an email. Hell no, I'm not doing that. If you have that on your phone, take it off. No one needs you that bad. And I used to work in residence life, and people literally like actually did need me that bad, but I was on call. Like, we were expected to be on call 24 hours. No one needs you that bad in email. If they need you that bad, they'll call you. So when I go home from work, I take a shower to physically wash the day off of me. And I do that a lot because I take on a lot of, like, and as we all do, a lot of trauma, a lot of people's just bad energy. And I'm just like, you know what, wash it off, put on like a nice lavender lotion, spray some nice, I have like a nighttime perfume, so that I'm exciting all my senses and telling myself, now is home time. Now is relaxation time. So if you don't have an after work practice to physically separate yourself from work and home, or work and whatever your next step is, if you go to another job or whatnot, you should be doing that. You might not have a nighttime perfume like I do. I mean, I like that practice, but might not be your thing. What else do we have? Michelle Phillips. I'm calling you out. It's time to start drawing boundaries. I don't want to see 80 plus hours a week. This is bullshit.
It's just what it feels like.
Sorry, I shouldn't swear. I literally have a post-it here that says, please don't swear. I'm working on it, people. I'm working on it. It brings me joy, okay? Too much time mentally on or off the clock. I love my job, but I live my job, but I also love my job, or should I say jobs? Yep, about a third. Ebb and flow. Yeah, there's sometimes that, just especially when you work in certain parts of higher education, they're just busier than others. That's for sure. Oh, yes. Someone else used to work in res life and it burned them out. Yeah. 90,000 hours. What the heck? At work for your life. And what that means is 35% of your total waking hours over a 50-year working life period. 35%. 50% of your waking hours during any given working day. I see the fools that I work with more than I see my family. And I chose my family. I made one of the members of my family. And I don't see him as much as I see my coworkers. And unfortunately, I don't even get the privilege of seeing them in person. I get to see you all on a screen. Some people I still haven't even met yet. Tamara's shaking her head. I still haven't even met Tamara yet. We work at the same college. This is nutty, folks, but it's also reality, right? So if this is reality, how does this information make you feel before we go into that? For me, oh my gosh, the reality that I am in my job, what are the stats? 50% of my day is here, 35% of my waking hours. Over a 50-year period I'm here, or at whatever job I have. We better start taking control of finding joy at work, right? Because how we spend our days is, of course, how we spend our lives. When you die, Top Regrets of the Dying by Bronnie Ware. I wish I hadn't worked so hard. Michelle, I want you to screenshot this, buy this book. And I'm calling out Michelle because she put herself out there, but I know I see you all on here. Okay, I see you all. Michelle's not the only person. A person, Bronnie Ware, who worked with people dying, reflecting back on their lives. These were the things that they said, I wish I had done. These were the regrets that they lived with. I wish I hadn't worked so hard. I know for me, the expectation of what I need to do at work and how I need to perform, I've been an overachiever my entire life, from like the youngest Sarah Vogel. Well, I was Sarah Murals back then, but the youngest version of Sarah, little Sarah, always. And for the most part, it worked. Like I was really fulfilled. I was really happy. And then things just changed. My life changed, priorities changed. I think we see that in the pandemic. You know, people start realizing, because there's been death around us nonstop and we're scared, and we start thinking and asking these big questions about like, what is a good life? And we're grappling with that. And if a third of our life is at work, then we start asking ourselves, is this worth it? Because I sure as hell don't want to be on an intubator thinking to myself, I wish I hadn't worked so much. You want to die in a good place. Hopefully all of us die, which we all will, in a good place where we look back at our lives and say, you know what, that was a pretty good life. For some of us, it might be like, that was freaking epic. And that'd be amazing if you said that at the end of your life. But you have to stop letting life happen to you. You have to recognize that you actually do have choices that you can make. There's actual boundaries you can draw, you know, and that's a whole nother presentation, right? I think we only have an hour and a half. This topic's so broad. Like, these are big questions, but starting to take stock of each one of you, take stock of your lives to say, where can I start to fit in joy? And again, if we're talking about 35% of our lives bringing us unhappiness, misery, then starting to talk to supervisors about like, I'm really struggling here, because I know as someone who is currently on a hiring committee, you know, we're seeking to hire our financial aid manager. It's a lot, and someone who's hired over the years, it's a lot of work to hire and train a new person and integrate them onto the team. I would much rather take care of the employees we have and make sure that they're supported and that they know that they matter and that they are okay, and keep them. From a business standpoint, that's just good practice right there. It costs more money to hire people. It costs more money for turnover. So some of you might be thinking, there's just no way. There's no way I could tell my boss that. You have to start looking at your job and being like, what areas can I lay off on? Because sometimes we actually think that we're more important than we actually are. There are things that you can take off your plate right now. There are things that you can be doing that you're going above and beyond. Now might not be the time to go above and beyond. You know, as someone put, like, there's ebbs and flows. At a certain point, if you're burnt out, like I heard this term the other day, you're so burnt out. I'm so burnt out, I'm crispy. And I thought that was really cute, but I was also really sad because like so many people are dealing with that right now. But again, you have to ask yourself, what things can I change? How can I advocate for myself? How can I draw a boundary here? How can I say, no, I won't do this any longer? And those I can't answer for all of you because we all have different jobs and we all have different bosses. Because no one's coming to save you, okay? That's another harsh reality. Sorry. Would like to think our bosses care about us. I like my boss. But like, she's got other stuff going on too. She's got her own issues to deal with. She got plenty of people to supervise. So it's really up to me to advocate for what I need to make me a healthy, productive employee. Because at the end of the day, we're here to provide some kind of service, right? We have our job descriptions and things that we do, but at the core of our job, we have to provide some kind of service. If you are not happy and you cannot provide that fully, you can start making changes, right? As we know, or may not know, stressful jobs make our life shorter. I'm literally not like I don't want to be dramatic here, but but the stats are dramatic. I'm not being dramatic. I'm just telling you what the statistics are, and they're dramatic. Cortisol, the stress hormone, is what's pumping through our bodies when we're overworked, right? Things like our breath changes, as we talked about. You got muscle tension that leads to like sore necks, sore backs, digestive issues. Who's got stress diarrhea? That's a thing. Your glucose levels change. My husband's a type 1 diabetic, so he checks his blood sugar all the time. And he has found that when he is incredibly stressed, his blood sugar does go up and down. That is a very real thing. A decline in sex drive or libido. I just did a presentation on the orgasm gap. It's happening again next week at the Excellence in Education. And you'd be so surprised at how many wonderful benefits there are to orgasms, right? But you're not going to have orgasms if you have no sex drive, right? Like literally orgasms not only make you feel better about yourself, they make you closer to people outside of the bedroom. So like in work situations, they help fight against colds and viruses. Like what? You're not going to get all those good benefits if you're stressed out and you have no libido. Erectile dysfunction, people who menstruate, that stuff changes. It's harder to get pregnant. It's just, this stuff matters, right? What? I love me some memes. I am a millennial child of the 90s, 2000s. So this is literally what I aspire to be daily. I love this movie. If you have not seen Inside Out, it will make you cry. It'll change your life. Please go watch it immediately. Again, I think it's really important to emphasize you are responsible for the energy that you bring in any space, any virtual space, any physical space. You're responsible for that. You have control. There are times when someone pisses me off and I sit with it for a little bit. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to throw better energy out in the world. I'm just going to like change the equilibrium. And by just merely saying, in reaction to this person being a jerk to me, I'm going to call someone and tell them how much I appreciate them. That not only makes me feel better, but it made that person feel better. And that, you know, there's like a butterfly effect comparison that I'm not super knowledgeable about, but essentially like a butterfly flaps its wings and a tsunami happens over there, which now that I'm saying it doesn't really sound that good. But essentially what I'm trying to say is, you have the power. That person could have pissed me off and I was like stomped around and was mean and mad. But instead I said, you know what? I'm gonna balance that energy. I'm gonna change it up and you get the benefits. Me, I got the benefits. I didn't let someone else's dumb energy, someone else's shitty saying to me. I mean, who here, please type in the chat, who here has gotten an email that's like, someone was so rude to them, someone was so mean to them? Just be like, yes, me. How many times does that happen? Yes, it sucks. And you're like, I'm trying to be a professional and not pop off right now. And you're questioning me and my abilities. And I'm just trying to do a good job. Like, that's so frustrating because you're just sitting there like, oh my God, I have like a million choices here. So for me, the way that I take control of that energy is I'm like, you know what? That person's probably really hurting. That's after I say a lot of expletives in my head. I say that person's hurting. Hurt people, right? Hurt people, hurt people. I feel bad for that person. They clearly have no emotional intelligence. They're not going to go that far in life. But I am. You know, Tamara's like, I don't know. That's true. We did have a president who said literally nothing nice. So, yeah, sometimes bullies win, but that's them. That's not me. You know, that's not the life I want to live. So I want to talk about a morning ritual. Start thinking about your morning rituals. Yes, I understand Starbucks is evil empire, okay? But their dark roast with a splash of heavy cream is like, speaks to my soul. And when I drop my kid off at daycare, I can go on the app and say, at the shopping center, I want to have a medium dark roast with a splash of heavy cream. And you know what? When I arrive, it's just there ready for me. I don't have to wait in line. I just go in and grab it. I say hi to my ladies, the baristas who literally change my morning every morning. This cup of coffee, when I was at like my lowest point, when I was just figuring out like I had postpartum depression, when I was just starting to seek resources, I was just looking for any little spark of joy that I could find. And I don't know if you know what Title IX coordinators or HR people do, but like we write a lot of reports that are really dry and really boring and have to do with something that happened a while ago where 2 people were harmed or multiple people were harmed. And it's just like a lot, like when you talk about joy, I give a lot of props to people in HR. I did not think I would be working so much in HR, but like you see all the harm that happens, right? You also see good things like people getting hired and people getting paid. Yes. But this little $3.09 cup of coffee every morning, I was like, at least I have this cup of coffee. And I had gratitude for that cup of coffee. So maybe yours isn't Starbucks. Maybe you are actually a good human who goes to like a local small owned business and, you know, like drinks organic soy or coconut milk and doesn't harm cows or whatever. But like, that's you. I need what I need. And every time I go in, I make sure to acknowledge the folks that are making my coffee. I say, hello, good morning, happy Wednesday. Yes, I am one of those annoying people, but you know what? It makes me feel good and it makes them feel good. And they're always smiling. Boys saying, yes, me too. Fantastic. I love it. And I probably quarterly will get a nice big box of pastries and bring it to them because every day they make my day a little bit better. And so if I can just spend $15 to buy some donuts as a surprise for them and as something to show my appreciation with a little card that says something simple. You make my mornings better. Thank you for making literally my life better, because as we heard, how you spend your days is how you live your life. You know, why not choose to live a life full of gratitude and joy? So as we think about our morning, as we wake up in the morning, I know many of us sit, grab on our night shelf, our phone, start checking Twitter, get freaking pissed about the Ukraine, Russia shit that's going on. Like, why are we doing this? Why are we grabbing our phone and looking at Twitter? You're not going to solve the Russia conflict. Put the phone away. What are some things that you do in the morning that makes you happy? Or what are some things that don't make you happy in the morning that you think I could do better at? I know for me, the rush of getting a 2.5-year-old to daycare because I'm too lazy to pack his lunch the night before. So I have to like put a sandwich together and make a coffee. And it's a lot. It's a lot. So now we just play music and I listen to Hamilton in the morning and we sing songs and he's learning the Bruno song from Encanto and it's fun. We add a little joy because otherwise it's just a constant schlep. Where's the diapers? Where's the wipes? Where's the this? Where's that? Okay, boy, you do not do 25 push-ups first thing when you get out of bed. I have many thoughts about that. One, I'm jealous. Two, what? Your shoulders must be so strong. That's fantastic. Turn on K-Love. Renee turns on K-Love, grab peppermint coffee. Is that like the actual bean is roasted like that with the flavor? Also peppermint after the holidays? What is this? Walking my goofy dogs. I have not seen anything about cats on this, by the way. So for everyone who loves cats, no one's really shouted them out. We don't talk about Bruno. God damn it. Make your bed and meditate. Making your bed is so actually important. It is so important. It's so easy to just leave all the sheets and stuff. Make your bed, folks. Later, as part of the presentation, another really smart person says that, and it's so true. I love it. Pray and meditate. Ooh, coconut caramel latte from Co Bakery. Yum. Satisfied. Emily, you're gonna have to tell us who sings the song Satisfied. I love that you sing too. I'm sorry, Chris Hernandez. Watercolor painting in the morning sun. What kind of utopia do you live in? This is incredible. Oh, shout out to the cats. Okay, we got some love for the cats. Okay, Deanna, blast some rock or metal. That sounds like my literal hell. Like when I imagine hell, that's what I imagine. But it's your joy, and that's so good. I love it. Oh, Satisfied from Hamilton. Thank you. Thank you for clarifying. I love it. When you start your morning off a little bit joyful, and if some of you are like really grappling, like racking your brains to think, my mornings kind of suck. They don't have to. They don't have to. You like peppermint creamer way after the holiday season? Stock up on it. Buy more of that. I'm telling you, when you kind of savor those like little things, for me, when I put on perfume or this gardenia lotion that I have in the morning, every day I'm like, oh my God, I smell so good. That is just a little bit of joy, right? That leads to more joy. There's someone, Mel Robbins, I think, she put out a book called The High Five Habit. She talks about how in the morning, instead of like looking at her body and like saying, oh, look at the fat rolls, or look at that cellulite, or like, look at whatever that you're criticizing your body about. She's just like, she high fives herself in the mirror. She's like, hell yeah, girl, you got this day. And it's just that psychological thing of reminding yourself that you're worth it. One, that there is joy to be found, and you can change your day at any time, you know? And I think that empowerment of like, I can change my life sounds so simple, but so many of us are going on autopilot, just like one thing to the next thing to the next thing. And we feel like, and we believe that everything's out of our control, and some things are, but some things aren't. So, okay, let's see what we got. I know I've talked a lot about gratitude. So I'll just share this example because I think gratitude is really important to happiness. I think studies will find that, right? Have found that. I had a colleague at San Diego State before I came here, named Kara, who in her signature line said, "You matter." And this will go back to like student development theory about marginalization and mattering. But like those two words, every time I got an email from her, I was like, oh, I do matter. That is such a simple thing that she did that who knows how many people it impacted. And having those little visual reminders that she gave to me by just putting it in her email line. How many emails do we send a day? 100, 500, 1,000? Michelle's like, I send 80,000 emails in my 80,000 work hour day. But for real, can you do something with your signature line? You know, can you change up? I know we like to say like aloha e someone, but like, good morning, happy Tuesday, how's your day been? Like, we don't talk to people a lot, you know, because we're virtual. There's ways to spice up your email to like make people feel good, and it'll make you feel good, right? Simple, you matter. A friend of mine also emailed me something. I think she quoted, oh my God, it wasn't Angela Davis. I have to remember. It was something like, I don't trust people who don't laugh, but I think it was a Black feminist. And I just thought that was hilarious. It was at the bottom of her email. And I was like, what? I still haven't looked it up, but it made me laugh. You know, it made me chuckle. It brought a little joy to my life. I don't like journaling, but some of you might. I like this idea from the Happiness Project. So I haven't read this book, full disclosure. I watched a 7-minute YouTube video about what this book's about. I haven't read it. I don't have time. The Happiness Project, or why I spent a year trying to sing in the morning, clean my closets, fight, write, read Aristotle, and generally have more fun. That sounds like a pretty good book. But something that in the 7-minute video that I watched was one sentence gratitude journaling. Just writing in a journal seems overwhelming to me. I barely can put a Facebook and Instagram post, right? But like writing on a little Post-it, something that makes you happy. This one says, think global, act local. It's about activism. You know, there's global issues, but you don't have to solve the problems of the world. Bring it back to just where you have influence. That's something that I have. Or I have Transform Yourself to Transform the World by Grace Lee Boggs. These little things that when we, in just one sentence, can start to journal, like what went good today, you'll start to see there's goodness everywhere, actually. And it just takes a reframing of the way that we are looking at the world. So how do you show gratitude at work? Okay. Oh, Maya Angelou. Don't trust people who don't laugh. Thank you. I'm glad some of you have read this book, The Happiness Project. I'm glad that it's good. I always say Eola Pono, basically defined as the ability to live with respect and seek harmony with those around you and the environment with which you live. Oop. Modern YouTube modern spark notes. I mean, listen, time is our most valuable commodity. Okay, so like finding those spark notes is very important. So how do folks show gratitude at work? You're like, I don't. I have nothing in the chat. Everyone's just like, nah, I just don't do this. Think about it, right? Like, think about when was the last time you thanked someone? It could be for just merely existing. They make you laugh. You know, it doesn't have to be revolutionary. Just telling someone they're dope, you know? And if you're like, I don't remember the last time I did that, just write that down as something you need to do by the end of today. Just be like, thank you, just for no reason. Do you know how awesome it is to get an email where someone was just like, I was thinking about you today, like not in a weird, creepy way, but like in a gratitude way. Play at work. I didn't really develop this slide much. I just thought that this was a fun visual. But how can we incorporate play at work? And again, it feels impossible. And it could feel like I don't have time for play at work. It can be simple. You know, thanks, Annika, for the message. See you later. Okay. How do people play at work? Drop off goodies at the desk. I love it. Yes, that's so kind. I know. Karen, you do work with really good people. Make sure you let them know that. And I hope people are letting you know that, right? I really do. And oftentimes it's like one of the last things we think about doing. But it's not that people aren't grateful for you. It's about changing that pattern, that mindset, that practice. People are grateful for you, even if they don't say it out loud. There's also different ways that people express their love languages too, you know, like dropping off goodies and kind of presents and gift giving versus verbally versus acts of service. So there's different ways that we show that. Oh my gosh, let's talk about the KonMari method. Do people know this beautiful woman? Yes. Okay, so to be frank, if you click, I'll send this out, but this is a link that'll take you to a website that kind of walks through what it is. She had a moment. I mean, she's still fantastic and I'm sure is doing amazing things, but she was kind of introduced, I think, through a Netflix show of being someone that helps people tidy their houses. And in doing so, it helps bring joy and peace to their life. So there's a whole 6-step method. I don't know why I got rid of the slide that went through all 6 of them, probably because I was like, I can't talk about anything but the last one that was like, does it spark joy? Because after watching like 2 episodes, I'm like, I gotta go clean my whole house, get rid of the clothes I don't wear anymore. And I remember the practice of like going to my closet. You know, we have 100 items of clothing. We only wear like 20% of the clothes that we have. 20%. So why do we have all this stuff taking up space? We look at it, we're like, I don't know. Why do I keep these jeans that are not fitting me right now? I will not get back to a size 12. Let's just be real. So what she did was like part of her process of like eliminating clutter, making space for joy. Oh, she was really into folding and making everything really cute. Just amazing. But the thing that really stuck with me that I still practice today when I'm like cleaning out my house, purging things, because we collect things over time, is like, does this bring me joy? And if my immediate answer is yes, it does, then great, I keep it. If it's like, I have this dress, but I've had it forever, I don't know, I'm just like, donate it, or even better, have like a clothing swap with your friends. But donating is great. You can donate to a shelter, you know, Goodwill, Salvation Army, whoever. But I just like that, again, focusing your attention on, does it bring me joy? So I want us to think about that as we think about our office spaces, right? So I'm in my office, so I don't know if I can change my background. But if you did see my background, I have a bunch of art that I got from thrift stores. I have a really nice smell going on. So I have this really funky mirror that's bright blue. There's also a lot of stuff that they all bring me joy, right? If we spend 35% of our lives in this office, you better make it cute. You better make it something you like. Don't put plants that you're going to kill in it. Get hardy plants, okay? If you like nature, some people say they like nature, bring nature in here. Let's get some, look at this cute little one that boy's holding up. Not only does he have a tiny cactus, but it's also in this cute little pig planter. Perfect, perfect example. How many times, boy, do you step in your office, you're like, oh, hey, cute little cow planter with a cactus? All the time, all the time. I got these glasses. These are adorable. They bring me joy every time. What else around here? There's a lot of stuff in here that doesn't bring me joy either. There's a lot of trash. So take a moment, put it in your schedule, take 10 minutes, go around your office and be like, what do I need to buy to make this space feel nice? Do I have a smell in my office first and foremost? If you don't, grab a diffuser. Kaiser clinics sell 100% essential oils. Get a nice essential oil that you like. Get a grapefruit. Get something fun and fancy. Do you have a cute water bottle? Have one of those. Get hydrated. Do you have pictures on the wall that you like? Can you paint your space a color that you like? Like, I've wanted to so bad paint my office, but Ken would literally murder me. No, he wouldn't. Just kidding. But you know what I mean. Figuratively.
Ask for forgiveness later, Sarah.
I like it, Michelle. Ken, he wouldn't even know. What music are you listening to? You like Satisfied from Hamilton? Great. You like AC/DC? That's for you, not for me. I personally am super into like Middle Eastern kind of instrumental music right now. Listen to some music, even if it's like a tinkling, like wind chimes. If you've ever seen The Fireplace, so if you go on Netflix, you can just stream a fireplace. Visually, that just makes me feel warm inside. You know, if I am having a really stressful day, you'll hear Christmas music for sure. But most of the time, music makes me happy. Does music make you happy? If so, are you playing it? Are you making space for it? Again, visual, colors, art, the things that you put in your office. Do you like pictures of your family? Are they up in your office? Do you have things that make you happy? If you're going to spend a third of your life here, make it cute. Make it some place that you want to go, where you step in, you're like, oh. If you step in your office, honestly, sometimes we go to our office and we're like, oh my God, we have so much work to do, right? There's like so much on the agenda. We have so many meetings. At least you'll be in a space that physically feels good. I again have a lot of these sticky notes around, so this is just a reminder of that.
Gotta try.
Oh, hey, Chris. I want to meet you. I have no tchotchkes in my office. Get the tchotchkes. They cost like $2 at the thrift store. Get the tchotchkes. Ooh, Afro beats, lo-fi hip hop. Yes, that's a great music station on the YouTubes. Meditation music. Deanna's out of control. She has metal music as my meditation. I love it. So create a space that feels good, right? So how do you create delight in your workspace? Emily's showing us some fun things. Oh my gosh.
Okay, so that painting, that's my two cats, and my little sister took their pictures for Christmas and made an oil painting. I mean, it's not real oil, but it's like, it's supposed to be an oil painting, and it's them.
That is amazing.
Yeah, and those feathers I just kind of picked up on campus.
That makes me think of lice, but if it makes you happy.
And so my grandmother's also really good at sending these like pop-up greeting cards.
Those are cool.
They're so cool. Yeah. Anyway, sorry for the shaky ass.
And that's right in front of it looks like it's right above your computer.
Right over my computers, yeah.
Yeah, so every time you're looking at the computer, you're also being reminded of like your life outside of work. You know, you're bringing into your space things that again make you happy. And again, I don't want these to sound like silly or trite, but they do work. Like all of this is just little steps, little things that we have control over, right? So as we close, we can certainly have discussion, but start thinking to yourself, what tips from this presentation will you take action on today? I know we started, the promise was 3, I gave you 300. There was lots of things to absorb, but maybe take the next like 3 minutes. And if you want to share it in the chat, that would be fantastic. If you want to keep it to yourself. But what are some things that we talked about today that you can take action on? Because again, I really want to drill down this idea that like life kind of happens to you, but also you make your life happen. So how are you going to make joy? How are you going to insert it into your life? How are you going to build it into your life? Okay. So people like them pay meanness with niceness. I mean, it's just the best way to feel in control again, which I think that when people say mean things to you, that feeling of out of controlness, and just feeling like everyone's so mean all the time, or that there's low morale everywhere, it starts like confirming what we already kind of believe about our lives. And so again, when we start to take action to start making those changes, and when we put our focus and intention on seeing and finding joy, it will start to appear. The fact is, it's always been there. You just weren't looking for it. You weren't looking for it. So if anything, please take from this presentation to start looking for and finding joy. More dancing, Karen says. Yes, please dance on over to Hale Aloha where I am, and come hang out. Stop trying to fit into my smaller clothes. Yes. Did I just give away a bunch of clothes to the Goodwill? Yes. Did I have to buy size 18 jeans? Begrudgingly a little bit, but I was like, you know what? It's just a time in my life. Like, I don't think I'll always be size 18, and I still think I look cute, and it's taken me a long time to get there. And I'm going to celebrate that. And I'm going to celebrate the fact that the Goodwill down the road has everyone donates like Old Navy jeans, and they always go up to size 18. And now they have like these waistbands that aren't even like real jeans. They're like stretchy jeans. It's incredible. So I'm just going to celebrate that trend. Although now the trend's like grandma jeans or mom jeans, and it just doesn't work with my body type. So, but yeah, get rid of the small clothes. Go buy my jeans cost $5. And if you go on Mondays at the Goodwill, it's $1.99 for anything that's in a certain color. Like, it's amazing. We'll call someone up and lift them up. Yeah, do that after this presentation. Be like, Sarah Vogel told me how to call you. They'll be like, what? Like, did I get reported to Title IX? No, I just love you. Happy morning ritual, ensuring that I add that back. I also want to add, you just have to start doing it. Do it every day. A friend of mine who is a coach she told me about changing something in your kitchen. So like, I'm in the kitchen every morning. Take your trash can and put it somewhere else. The visual reminder will start to be the reminder that, oh yeah, we're changing something today, right? And I was like, that seems weird. So I didn't move my trash can because it's like got its own place, but I moved the coffee, and I was like, all right, we're going to make coffee over here. And we started playing music more. So make my office cuter on those same lines, incognito painting in my office. Michelle, I see you working from home a lot, but I guess we're like coming back to the office now. So make your house office cute too.
It's been in renovation, so we only moved in fairly recently. I'm not unpacked yet.
Are you in Hale Aloha where the mold is?
Not anymore. We were, for the last couple of years. Right.
Tell someone, show someone they appreciate them. Declutter. Make your bed, declutter. Share food. Heck yes. Saving this chat to look back on it, laugh and smile. That makes my heart happy. Yes, come visit me more at the 3 presentations I'm doing next week. Love that idea. How do you do that, Rick? How do you do that? Oh, they were asking Angela, how do you save the chat? I don't know. How do we do that? Do you know, Michelle? Or if you want to get
I think as a because I created the Zoom room, I think I can save it. I'll try to send it out with the recording.
Okay. The notion of being mindful of my joy meter. Yeah, a lot of this is just being mindful. just starting to pay more attention. Deanna, ultra high rise jeans. What's up with that? Yes, get right in that cute little waistline. Oh, thanks, Alan. That would be wonderful. Let's see what else. Does anyone have any questions or like thoughts that they want to share with the group? I mean, we got like 15 minutes left. I know I'm going to start hearing ding, ding, ding as people like go off and, do life stuff. Go take that shower after work. Spray on the nighttime perfume. Get a diffuser for your house. Seriously, they're the bomb. I mean, I like candles. Personally, TJ Maxx is like, their candle game's on point. Oh, what do we see, Alan? Oh, is that nighttime perfume? So many good smells. Oh, seriously, that's just like an immediate change of mood.
I'm in my daughter's room, so this is her stuff.
I was like, I mean, no judgment, Alan, if you like Bath and Body Works. I mean, they're fire. I love it. Thanks, boy. Well, I really needed it. So, I think that's another thing too, is this is not my job. Like it is and it isn't. I chose to do this presentation, right? I know I'm an extrovert. Being in a pandemic freaking sucks. I don't get my energy from being alone. I'm needy. I need you all. And you know what? Like this gives me happiness. So if you can step into these types of opportunities too, whether you're a faculty member or a staff member, there are things that, and some of you might be thinking, I don't have enough time. Well, can you get rid of some of this stuff? And if you're like, no, how do you know that you can't get rid of it? Have you talked to your boss about it? Is this you being an overachiever? Being like, I can't. I think when my husband he's a wise old sage. He's only 41, but I'm like, he's 7 years older than me. So I'm like, you're so wise. He's always like, just stop trying so hard. Like if you put in 70% effort, you're still doing more than like 100% of people, like people's 100%. Like you do too much, just do less. And I'm like, oh, you're asking me to like unlearn 34 years of life. I don't understand what you're saying. He's like, just do a little bit less. And for me, that like mantra, do less, has really helped me change how I approach my job. And so again, we didn't get to dive into like, how does one assert boundaries with their supervisor and or colleagues? But if you can just start to like plant that seed and that thought of like, do less, take control of your calendar again, insert joy into your calendar. That's a start. Sarita said she broke up the lull in a meeting with a mom joke. Why does the bee's hair always sticky? Because she uses a honeycomb. You can take that joke and start your meetings with it. Thank you, Sarita. That is very sweet. Make it silly. Play a little bit at work. Shit, life's too short. Like, I'm tired of feeling tired. I'm tired of feeling sad. I'm sure all of you are too. It sucks. So as we end, I just want to say I'm grateful to you all for the work that you do every day, for your students, for each other, for the community. I mean, we don't get paid like tech people. Most of us are in education because of how it makes us feel, and right now we don't really feel that good. So, we could have also talked all about like how purpose and meaning are built, right? It's just a longer, different conversation. But I'm excited for all of you to start this journey. Some of you may be further along than others. But my hope is that you took away at least 2 things that you can implement today. So I hear your applause. So I'm just going to go ahead and say thank you. Thank you. Oh, that's cute. That's right. Zoom can do that. I'm awkward. I really don't know how like end the presentation. Michelle, do you have like a bookend that you're like something fun?
No, you got it. But Sarah has 3 sessions at the Excellence in Education Day next Friday. So
I told you I was an overachiever.
Check them out.
Yeah, check it out. It's going to be fun. We're talking about mothers balancing work and mothering, which is open to everyone. Tamara's shaking her head. Yeah, girl, I feel you. I also don't have the answers for that, but I do have some fun tips for things that have worked. We're talking about orgasms, so that's cool, and malamaing yourself. And what's the third one? What was the third one, Michelle? Oh, we're talking about going to therapy. So it's me and Kate, our therapist on campus. We're talking about, like it took a long time for me to go to therapy, and she's a therapist, and I think it would be really good. We're just going to have kind of an informal conversation, answer some questions about folks who are therapy curious. If you're like, haven't been to therapy and you're like, maybe I want to try, but I like, is the therapist judging me? They probably are. That's the answer. But they won't let you know that because they're professionals. They're really there to help. So.
Thank you to everyone for being here today and for supporting this series, the Campus Connection series that all your UHCC PD coordinators put together. They're an amazing, awesome group, and they bring me joy. So thank you for supporting them on your campus and supporting all the other campuses as well. Yeah. And I see some of our past presenters in this room as well. So thank you all for being here. And thank you, Sarah, for bringing joy, a little bit of joy to all of our days.
Absolutely. Wait, did you ever press record? Are we recording?
We are.